Everybody! Welcome back to the Uplift GN channel, where in today's video we're going to be going over my NBA 2025 season predictions. How well did I do? Maybe I predicted the Washington Wizards to win the East and it didn't happen. Stay tuned for all that and more, and so much fun we're gonna have. Everyone's gonna have fun. And yeah, let's get into this video. Alright, past Uplift GN. Before we get this party started and in too far into this video, I would just like to give a quick shout out to, well, myself. If you watch other basketball YouTubers / podcasts, you'd know shows like Numbers on the Board, The Deep Three, have gotten to do their shows with the Larry O'Brien Trophy. So I figured, why not me too? I got in touch with Adam Silver and he said, sure, Uplift GN, you can have the Larry O'Brien Trophy for a video. So this video will be filmed with the Larry O'Brien Trophy. Of course, that meant I have to use the cutout Google version because that's my style of videos, but trust me, it's here. It's I have the real one right beside me. I just can't show it because I'm busy making this video. But it's right here. Say hi, Larry. Hi, Larry. All right, into the video now. We are going to start off with the East, where we will be going 15 through 1. Then after that, we'll go through the West, and we'll just see how well my predictions ended up being. 15th place in the East is where the Washington Wizards ended their season 18-65. And my official prediction was the Washington Wizards would finish 15th, and my record prediction was them for 17-65. So I was off by 1 win. I should have predicted them to do better. Tisk tisk. But overall, that is a W prediction because the Washington Wizards met my expectations and finished exactly where I predicted them to.
Baby, where did these niggas be at when they say they doing all this and all that?
14th place is where the Charlotte Hornets finished this season with a record of 19-63. PU. And what makes this prediction even more unfortunate is that in the 14th slot is where I had the Brooklyn Nets. I predicted them to have a record of 22-60. And to be honest, this could have happened if they had traded away their gooder players earlier, but they decided to hang on to them for a bit, and then when they started to sell, it was already too late, and they had already won a decent amount of games. So Brooklyn Nets did not finish 14th, but the Charlotte Hornets did.
Hey, how did peach cobbler tasting?
It's alright. I had better at the school cafeteria.
In 13th place is where I predicted the Toronto Raptors to land, where I predicted their record to be 24-58. In reality, they ended up finishing better with a 30-52 record, and in the actual 13th place spot was none other than the Philadelphia 76ers, which I definitely did not see coming, and I had them predicted much higher, which you will see in this video. But yeah, Raptors at 13 didn't happen. They actually surpassed my expectations by 6 wins.
从有情之吻之永久母养前与杀之吻之宣果母养性与理显丞相奏之。
And in 12th place, I had... In 12th place, I had the Detroit Pistons finishing with a 25-57 record. Obviously, that did not end up happening as they climbed up all the way to 6. They did so much better than I predicted them to do. I did not expect Cade Cunningham to have this big of a leap, but not only that, but I did not predict him having this big of a leap and it mattering. I did not think they would be playing meaningful games of basketball down the stretch, but as it turns out, they were literally fighting to stay in that playoff spot and avoiding the play-in entirely. I am very impressed by how the Detroit Pistons turned their franchise around in just 1 season, it seems, and yeah, I'll eat shit with that prediction.
I don't have a microphone? You shouldn't be playing the game in the first place. That's just my opinion. Go ahead and cancel me. I don't care.
Yo, Turtle, shut the up, bro.
Next up in the 11th slot is where I had the Charlotte Hornets. Yes, I had the Charlotte Hornets finishing better than the Detroit Pistons. I know, I'm stupid. I predicted the Charlotte Hornets to finish the season with a 34-48 record, which not only means that I think that they would be competitive for the play-in spot, but I had them finishing with 9 more wins than the Pistons. In reality, like we already talked about, the Charlotte Hornets fell off a cliff. They had so many injuries, and the most important of all is LaMelo Ball was injured once again in a very pitiful season where they finished 19-63. Not a good look. And in reality, the team that finished 11th was actually the Toronto Raptors, who finished with their record of 30-52. Good job, Toronto. Now this is where the predictions really start to pick up, as where I predicted the play-in teams next. And the first play-in team I had, finishing 10th, was the Chicago Bulls. I predicted them to finish with a 37-45 record, and I wasn't wrong. They actually finished with a 39-43 record. And when it's all said and done with how the play-in turned out, they did actually end up technically finishing as the 10th seed. Woo! Yeah! Yeah!
To make a move to a town that's right for me.
And my ego continues to get boosted, as at the 9th seed, I had the Atlanta Hawks finishing with a 43-39 record, which did not end up happening. They finished 40-42, but they did, however, slot in at that 9th seed, again, technically, because of how the play-in turned out. So, I'm right again. Moving on to the 8th slot now, where I guess I was just on a heater, because I also had the Miami Heat finishing in the 8th spot. I've gotten 3 in a row correct, so shout out me. However, the record was not correct, because I predicted them to finish with 45 wins and 37 losses, where in reality they finished with 37 wins and 45 losses. So the East was a lot less competitive than I expected this year, and I don't see that changing anytime soon, especially with Cooper Flagg being in the West now. And, you know, Giannis could get traded to the West. We don't really know what's going to happen in this Eastern Conference.
What's your baby name? What's your baby name? Huh? Spadietta? Yeah. What's up, Spadietta?
In the 7th slot, I am back to being wrong, because this is where I predicted the Milwaukee Bucks to win, or not to win, to finish. They didn't win anything. But the great thing about this pick is that I predicted the Bucks to finish with a 48-34 record, and wouldn't you know it, that is the record they finished with. So in my opinion, I don't care about the placement. That's an A+ prediction, because I predicted the exact record right. And yeah, I feel like a winner now. I win.
Mama, here we go. Right, place it through. Fucking hell, ref! What the fuck? And you don't call the fucking...
In 6th place is where I predicted the Indiana Pacers to finish next. I had them finishing with the same record as the Bucks at 48-34, and at the time of recording this, the Pacers are in the Eastern Conference Finals, and they're going to be facing off against the Knicks. So who knows, maybe the Pacers will end up being NBA champions. But for now, they ended up finishing 6th, or in reality, they finished 4th. They had a 50-32 record overall, so I wasn't too far off. But yeah, good luck to the Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals, and good luck to the other team, which we will be talking about momentarily.
Stop teasing me. Stop teasing me.
But before we get there, I have to eat shit again, where I had the Philadelphia 76ers finishing in 5th. I projected them to win a 49-33 record. I projected them to win almost 50 games. You know how many games they ended up losing? 58. They had a 24-58 record. This is a season where absolutely nothing went right. Jared McCain was looking like the Rookie of the Year. He got hurt. Tyrese Maxey got hurt, missed some time. Paul George got hurt. And of course, Joel Embiid also got hurt. So there was a lot of injuries, although they did hold it down with Quentin Grimes, and they actually did play surprisingly well at times with all the injuries. But when it's all said and done, they ended up finishing 13th. But don't feel too bad, Phillies fan. You got the 3rd overall pick. You'll be alright. Moving on now to my 4th seed is where I had the Cleveland Cavaliers finishing with a 50-32 record. Obviously, that didn't end up happening, as they really exceeded expectations by almost 14 wins. They finished with well, actually, it's exactly 14 wins. I don't know why I said almost. They won 14 more games than I expected, finishing with 64 wins, 18 losses, and they actually finished as the number 1 seed in the East. So, shout out them, I guess, even though it didn't end up mattering, but...
Walter, put your dick away, Walter. I'm not having sex with you right now, Walter.
Another big whiff I have is number 3. I had the Orlando Magic finishing with a 51-31 record. I was 10 wins off, as they finished with a 41-41 record, and they fell all the way down to 7th. They did not mesh as much as... They didn't mesh as well as I expected them to. I thought they were going to put it more together after this season, but more the same. They did end up losing to the Boston Celtics in the first round, but I have some high optimism for next year as well. Maybe they'll go out and get someone that can actually have some off-ball play aside from Paulo.
Splatoon 2, Nintendo Switch. Game rated everyone 10 and up. Splatoon 2 is a fucking stupid game.
Next team we're going to talk about is I had the New York Knicks finishing at number 2 with a 53-29 record. I was very close. I was only off by 2 wins. They ended up posting a 51-31 record, and they are the other team currently fighting for the Eastern Conference Final champions as they're facing off against the Pacers. I think that game starts tonight, game 1. I think it'll be a long series, probably 7-game series. I don't know who I have winning. I think I would lean Pacers right now if you're going to ask me now. But there is a very real world where I can see the Knicks beating up on the Pacers and advancing to their finals, where they would either be playing Minnesota, which would be fun to see the Julius Randle versus Cat, or they can play the OKC Thunder and probably get obliterated.
Did you know that whenever you grass on water, seems to growing? This is because water needs water and grass grow to grow on water. Big thanking to Mason for explaining this fact.
Thank you.
Who did Uplift GN have finishing with the number 1 record in the Eastern Conference? Who could it possibly be? Well, it was the Boston Celtics. I had them finishing with a 65-17 record. I thought they were going to dominate. Although they kind of did. They did not finish as the first seed. They finished as the second because Cleveland won 3 more games than them. They actually finished with the 61-21 record, so I was only 4 games off. And it will be interesting to see what the Boston Celtics decide to do in the offseason to get under that second apron. Would Drew Holiday be going? Would Kristaps Porzingis be going? Maybe they get rid of Derek White. Maybe even Jaylen Brown. Maybe they say fucking get rid of Jaylen Brown. Who knows? Only time will tell. But if you're going to put me in that situation, I think I would get rid of Kristaps Porzingis' $60 million contract and Drew Holiday's, $104 million contract. Don't get me wrong, he's still a great defender. It's just the offense isn't really there anymore. Well, it was never really super there, but I think you get rid of those 2 players, get those contracts off the book, and just try and regroup and kind of figure out what you're going to do with this team now. If you're going to make any other different moves, it depends on what assets you bring back as well for Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis. I don't know what that would really fetch you, but it'll be an interesting offseason in Beantown for sure. And there you have it. That is a review of my Eastern Conference predictions. How well did I do? Well, I got 4 placements right, in the Miami Heat finishing in 8th, the Atlanta Hawks finishing in 9th, the Bulls finishing in 10th, and the Wizards finishing in 15th. I only got 1 record prediction right, but that's the first one ever in this channel's history, and that was the Milwaukee Bucks, where I projected them to win 48-34, and that's exactly what they ended up finishing. I'll end up posting the Western Conference video, I don't know. I'm still heavy in the editing phase for that one, so I'm not really sure when it'll be getting out, but I'll say probably sometime this week. Yeah. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, tell all your friends, show your parents, your teachers, show some other Hoops fans you know, anybody really. But that will do it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and Uplift GN out.